I mean, hell, look at how many weapons we just gave to the Taliban when we pulled out of Afghanistan.
Let's go ahead and do the political segment, and then after that, we've got a game show segment for you guys. We're going to see if Murph will win 3 weeks in a row. Huh?
All right. Hey, I think I can.
But you can still hear us. Go smoke your cigarette and just listen to us.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
I'll be back. So, I only had a couple things to cover anyway. I was going to talk a little bit about the blockade.
Putin pulling out?
And that. And Putin pulling out. Yeah.
The Putin pullout.
You caught that, right? Putin is pulling Russian officials out of Ukraine.
Yeah.
Why would Russia be pulling people out of Ukraine?
Duh. Duh. The same thing I've been saying for 3 weeks here.
Well, but Vladimir Putin has said numerous times that he has no plans of invading Ukraine.
He lies.
No, he hasn't said that he has no plans of invading Ukraine. He said if they don't, what's the word? Something with their agreement. Like if they don't uphold
the Minsk agreement.
Yeah, the Minsk agreement. Then yes, he is going to invade Ukraine. Like
I think I sent you some stuff on the Minsk agreement, right?
Yeah, I read through it last night before I passed out.
What did you think about what you read on it?
I was confused as fuck. My reading
You was
comprehension
confused as fuck. The Minsk agreements are really small. It's about a page and a half. It's only a page and a half. It's like 13, I think, or 16.
But it's in
things.
It's using language I don't understand as far as like the words. Like I don't do that.
Basically, they called for a ceasefire. The Minsk agreements called for a ceasefire in Luhansk and Donetsk. I think I'm saying that right. The easternmost parts of Ukraine, where Russian separatists and Ukrainians are still fighting. The Minsk agreements were an attempt to de-escalate the situation there. The Minsk agreement said that they were going to institute centralized banking again. They were going to let banking take over and do its thing. They were going to hold political elections and let people be elected into office and do all those things. There was supposed to be a ceasefire, and they had 14 days to start setting all this up. They gave them 2 weeks. Within 5 days, they were supposed to start transferring hostages. It was supposed to be an all-for-all transfer. Ukraine would release all Russian hostages. Russia would release all Ukraine hostages in a trade-off and within 5 days agreement and shit. The Minsk agreements didn't stop the fighting. In a lot of the hot spots, they were still hot and heavy getting into it. And then, and this is in 2014.
That's when they
dumping
took
into
Crimea.
20. Yeah. And yeah, when they took Crimea. Dumping into 2015, they tried to do another ceasefire within the ceasefire, and they've still been fighting. And then during the New Year's and Christmas time coming into 2016, they tried to do a ceasefire within the ceasefire within the ceasefire, but still during Christmas and New Year's, motherfuckers are shooting motherfuckers. I mean, they're all in it, blood out in the street, people dying, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But still, Russia and Ukraine both feel like that the fighting that's going on there is not going to escalate into anything major until right now, until Russia put 130,000 troops on the border. Now, it could be posturing to de-escalate the situation in these areas. That's kind of what I was thinking. It could be like they're trying to get them to stop fighting, or like you said, Putin's like, well, you guys are either going to stop fighting or we're just going to take the whole fucking country.
Yeah. I feel like no matter what, he's going to take over the southeastern part of Ukraine, where the Russian separatists are hot and heavy. I know we haven't mentioned that too much here, but like that, the right above Crimea, they're at the southeasternmost point of Ukraine. There's a lot of Russian separatists that are, still the ongoing battle, and right there, like what you were talking about. And I feel like that's what he's going to do. And his ace in the hole is moving in on the Ukraine capital and capturing it to cut the head off the snake to move in on the other side.
And like you said, they're only a couple hours away from the capital. Yep. But it might be a little harder than what it seems it's going to be like, because on one end, the Russian separatists in the eastern part of Ukraine number about 30,000 was Ukraine's official estimate last time that I checked. They think they're around 30,000. Russia has been supplying these separatists with weapons, ammo, and fresh fighters.
Yeah.
On the other hand, America and the UK have been supplying Ukraine with weapons, with radars, with anti-tank missiles. You know what I mean? So the road to Kyiv might not be as easy as what it seems like it's going to be, with it just being a couple hours away from the Russian border.
To give you a perspective, though, like I agree with you. I know where you're going with this, but to give a perspective to the viewers and listeners, the road that I'm talking about is 4 hours worth of trip on a straight shot fucking paved highway for the Russian troops. Where they're stationed to the capital of Ukraine is a 4 hour straight shot on a highway, 4-lane highway. All right. They don't have to wait on the ground to be froze to do that shit. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, those roads are barricaded. They've cleared all that out. There's trenches dug. If you've watched any of the videos coming out of Ukraine right now, they are dug in, waiting, ready. You know what I mean? Like, ready for it to pop off. The Russian army's 5 times bigger than the Ukrainian army. If you count all the veterans and everything else that Ukraine has, the Russian army's 3 times bigger than the Ukrainian army.
Mm-hmm.
So Ukraine doesn't have a small force. They're pretty big. They, I think, would be a formidable foe for Russia. I don't think that they would stop a Russian invasion, but I think that it would get nasty. But, Biden's already said he's not sending troops in. Biden said he's not sending troops in. The UK has said they're not sending troops in. NATO itself said it's not sending NATO troops, which NATO troops are basically American troops. I don't really think that there's a whole lot of other countries in NATO that can supply.
There actually is.
The money and the soldiers the United States can supply.
I thought the same thing at first with NATO, but after doing a little digging, there actually is a lot of countries that do have soldiers within NATO and supply NATO. You just you don't really hear about it. Like they don't really put it out there.
I know that there are. I'm just saying not on the scale, not on the scale that America supplies things to NATO. Nobody compares to the American scale. That was one of Trump's big quarrels when he went to the NATO summit. Trump addressed that we supply more money and everything into NATO than any other country.
Well, war is profitable, and I feel like that's another thing that's going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is where the U.S. You talk about the U.S. supplying Ukraine with weaponry and things like that. It's profitable. They're making money on it. And
the military-industrial complex is always going to be a money-making machine.
Right. Exactly. I'm going to bring up a video. I know you had a video you wanted me to show too. I'm going to bring this one up real quick.
Yeah, I was going to show that Putin TikTok. That's actually, I think you got it pulled up right there.
No, this is this is Biden, actually. This is like the smartest I've ever seen Biden act. We're going to play it real quick. Let me roll his music.
It has
down.
to be scripted.
What are your plans toward
Absolutely.
American citizens who are in Ukraine and might be there during an invasion? What scenarios would you put American troops to rescue and get Americans out?
There's not. That's a world war. When Americans and Russians start shooting at one another, we're in a very different world than we've ever been in.
Not even on behalf of simply evacuating Americans.
No. How do you do that? How do you even find them? This is not like, I'm hoping that if in fact he's foolish enough to go in, he's smart enough not to in fact do anything that would negatively impact on American citizens. But what I've asked is American citizens should leave now. We're dealing with one of the largest armies in the world. It's a very different situation and things could go crazy quickly.
What are your plans toward
Yeah.
America?
That's the smartest I've ever heard him. So you know it was scripted, and you know where it came from.
Where'd
Yeah.
it come from?
Not Biden.
Not Biden. You know it came from the Pentagon telling him, this is what you need to say.
Yeah.
You better get
Tell him
this
to
right.
get
He had
the
two,
fuck out.
Verbatim.
He
You
had
need to say
two-
this
Yeah.
verbatim.
or we're going to be in World War III. That's how they scared him into it. And then he had 2 weeks to practice it. That's why we've heard nothing from him for 2 weeks. He's been practicing
don't-
this one thing here. This one
And
answer.
don't shit your pants.
Right, and don't fart on national television while doing this. Yeah. So, I mean, that's the TikTok I wanted to share, mainly because it was really surprising coming from him, even though I know it wasn't from his head. He just memorized it. But what's the other one, Murph, you wanted me to show?
The one that Putin was talking in.
No, I have a couple of them. I think I sent you, but let me... Yeah, there you are.
He actually mentioned the Minsk agreements, and the end of that one that I was talking about.
I think I found it.
It's actually one he was talking about. If they uphold the Minsk
He was
agreement, then there wouldn't be.
answering a question at...
Yeah, he was answering a question.
Yep, here we go. Opal, you guys, I don't know. You can read it. You can read it. It's subtitled actually, so
Yeah, because he's speaking in Russian.
yeah. I mean, it's Russian, so
Как вы оцениваете перспективы урегулирования на Юго-Востоке? Владимир Владимирович, как
Rewind
вы оцениваете перспективы урегулирования на Юго-Востоке Украины? То есть, грубо говоря, как вы считаете, Минские соглашения еще живы? Спасибо.
Ну, что касается Минских соглашений, живы они, имеют ли какую-то перспективу или нет? Я считаю, что другой альтернативы просто нет. Ведь, повторяю еще раз, в Киеве то говорят, что будут соблюдать, то говорят, что это разрушит их страну. И президенту действующему недавно заявил, что ему ни один пункт не нравится из этих Минских соглашений. Но нравится, не нравится, терпи, моя красавица, надо исполнять. По-другому не получится. Значит, не хотят напрямую разговаривать с представителями Донбасса. Ну, там записано прямо в пункте 12, 9, 11 написано, такие-то вопросы будут обсуждаться и согласовываться с представителями этих территорий. Обсуждаться и согласовываться с ними. А как же иначе тогда работать? Невозможно. Поэтому нужно набраться мужества, признать то, что написано, не говорить на белое черное, а на черное белое. И работать. Ведь нынешнее руководство шло на выборы под лозунгом решения вопроса на Донбассе мирным путем. Я очень надеюсь на то, что так в конце концов и будет сделано, когда придет осознание того, что по-другому невозможно поступить.
Владимир Владимирович, как вы оцениваете?
all right. So I mean, I know none of us really speak Russian, or at least I don't think. I might want to check out my new sound Discord. The motherfucking Princess Opal? Oh no, hang on.
What?
Wait.
Okay. So I'm reading. He just said.
Oh my God! Thank you, Big God. Thank you.
Fucker.
Yeah. So he just said.
I'm sorry.
You good?
Are you gonna let us in on this?
Nope.
Or what?
Nope.
Oh, rude.
You'll find out.
So he said 9/11 and 12. I was just reading into those Minsk agreements that I sent to you in Discord. So 9/11 and 12 and the Minsk agreements is reinstatement of full control of the state border by the government of Ukraine through the conflict area. So they want government control in the area that, Donetsk and Luhansk. They want full government control in those conflict areas. 11 and 12. 11 is carrying on a constitutional reform in Ukraine, with a new constitution entering into force by the end of 2015, which I guess that still hasn't happened. They haven't instituted a Ukrainian constitution. And 12 is local self-government ordered in certain areas of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions. Something about instituting some other kind of that's the one about holding local elections for Donetsk and Luhansk. So those three things haven't happened. They haven't had any elections to appoint a leader. They haven't did anything about the Ukrainian constitution, and there hasn't been government reinstated in the conflict areas. Those three things and the Minsk agreements haven't been met. And I don't really see how the Ukrainian president can say he don't agree with one single thing in here, because the very first thing is calling for an immediate and comprehensive ceasefire. So how can you not, if you want peace in your country, how could you not want a ceasefire?
Yeah, like I feel like Ukraine is struggling right now because of the president that they do have.
Right.
I think that's part of the reason. Because if I'm not mistaken, like when we were doing research last week, we found out that he was actually the president during 1994. Whenever they joined NATO, they sold all their nuclear weapons to Russia for their sovereignty.
And then they said they didn't want to be part of NATO.
No,
they said they wanted to. They said they didn't want to.
They wanted to be part of NATO, but they didn't want any NATO support because they didn't want to give support in return. So they refused any kind of support, and that's exactly why NATO is not supporting them right now in this. And I'm pretty sure it was the same guy that was president then that is now.
Well,
they have an election every year, right? Or is it every 2 years?
For what?
The president. They do it often.
Russia?
No,
Or Ukraine?
Ukraine.
I don't know. I don't know exactly how often they hold elections. I still think a lot of that shit's up in the air right now because of everything that's going on. So I have no idea how often Ukrainian elections are held.
I'm pretty sure we read that somewhere last week. Probably forgot.
It might be, especially right now with all the shit they got going on. But and Biden has already said, now we're not going to be sending troops in if Russia invades Ukraine. We're not sending any troops in. We will send equipment and support. One thing they are planning on doing is imposing sanctions on Putin and his family and friends, which really, it might hurt him politically, but in the grand scheme of things, it's not going to hurt really bad. What might actually hurt him is the European Union said that they won't be doing any more oil trades with them. So that's 40%. That the oil trades with Europe is about 40% of Russia's income. And having that pipeline come down through Germany probably gonna up that up some. But sanctions are supposed to stop that pipeline from going in too. So I don't know if that's going to be enough to deter Putin or not, though, from an invasion. I would lean towards probably not. Because Putin isn't viewing this from an economic standpoint or what's best for my country. Putin's viewing this from the standpoint of, what are they going to be saying about me in the next 50 years, the next 100 years? How are they going to remember Vladimir Putin? Not what's my oil price is going to be next year.
Mm-hmm.
He ain't that worried about that. But that's that in a nutshell, yeah. And Russia's pulling out all their diplomats from Ukraine. Yeah, they're pulling out. They're pulling out.
Pulling out.
Russia's pulling out. U.S. is pulling out. Everyone's pulling out.
Russia's pulling out before they blow their load.
Yeah. They're faster. They're quicker at pulling out.
Yeah, they are.
U.S. is just a suggestion.
But that's all I got for Russia. I mean, we only got a few more minutes till 2. I was going to talk about Justin Trudeau and the blockade a little bit. Look, there's an Opal.
Yes. It works.
Oh my God.
Everyone, it works. It works.
But I can try to cover it real quick in just a few minutes. I know that
Fuckers.
right now there's a lot going on with the protest at the what's it called, the Ambassador Bridge.
Yeah.
And Trudeau's trying to shut it all down. He's went as far as calling the blockades criminal.
Fucker.
It's criminal activity. And he said that he's freezing people's bank accounts due to the criminal activity of the blockades and stuff. Evidently, protesting in Canada is illegal and against the law. And they'll freeze your bank accounts, charge you $100,000 fine, and every other shit.
Is fucking bears illegal in Canada?
Probably not.
Probably not.
Where's the bush troll? Where's our Canadian? We need to know these things.
I know.
Bush troll! Let's wiggle the bush, see if he comes up. We need to know these things. Fucker. I love it. I love it. That was a great one, Big God. That was solid. Thank you, Opal. Thank you for that content.
You're welcome.
We've got more to come too, by the way. Like the old pussy ad from last week. Definitely got to get that in there. Dost thou have an insatiable thirst for pussy? But Murph, this trucker strike, I'll tell you from my perspective what I've been hearing. Guys, I am turning the sound stuff off so we can get through this political segment. When we have the game show segment, you guys can run sounds again. Fucker.
I got you guys.
Clip it.
I got you guys.
I'm gonna mute her.
just redeem it and I'll say it.
Yeah. But what I was gonna say is, I deal with truckers in the postal service. I carry bulk mail, and they're saying that there's like an imminent strike. It's coming, even to the U.S. because people are seeing that it works. They're going to be doing it.
Fucker.
Thank you, Opal. But what? I'm going to mute her. Muting Opal right now. Yep, muting her. Right.
What's up, Christina Games? Long time no see.
But
Must have been working hard
I
for a while.
can't mute Opal. I feel horrible muting Opal. She's almost never here, so like, we need to at least hear her say "fuck her." That's fine.
Yeah, I agree.
As long as she's here. But on a serious note, it's imminent. But the bad part for us in the USPS is we can't join the strike. Being federal employees, that would not work at all. So
I mean, you
unfortunate.
could.
We could.
You could.
We could, but we could also see jail time. So we're not doing that. But
yeah, that would not be good.
Yeah, we can't do that.
That's the same problem we have as teachers in Utah. We're not allowed to strike either, or we can go to jail.
Exactly.
Which they've threatened it lots of times, and I kind of feel like we need to do it to get something done, but we can't.
Yeah, and it sucks because to make a difference, we could strike, like you're saying, Murph. Like we could, and to make a difference, everyone would have to do it. But that not everyone would do it out of fear, and that's what the government's like. They're cool about that. Like that's fine with them.
That's the reason back in the day they had unions, so everybody was on the same page.
Yeah. Now, Christina Games, like that hit even here. That wasn't just in Colorado. Like we dealt with that here too. Like up in Pittsburgh. That's when I was driving in and out of Pittsburgh, and like I still couldn't strike, and I had people like throwing bricks at my truck and stuff like that because I was still running, not striking. And like what they didn't understand is that I couldn't, like I would see jail time if I went on strike. So yeah, it was rough. A lot of truck drivers don't understand that because they don't haul postage. So like, it turns nasty. It really does. It turns nasty. I don't like trucker strikes, but they are the lifeblood of this fucking nation. If they go on strike, Shit ain't gonna move. You can't get shit at the supermarket. You can't get your fucking toilet paper. You have to go to hellotushy.com. Get your bidet right now.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can go to HelloFresh, one of our sponsors, which we're going to hear from right now. Aren't we, Murph?
Yeah.
HelloFresh. Ooh, yeah.
So fresh.
Potatoes. Oh, yeah.
Nice and round. Round, sliced,
Spicy.
potatoes.
Ooh. Sauteed onions.
Saucy.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, seasoned. Saucy.
Sour cream.
Pat it, whip it, yes.
Whip it real good.
Whip it. Look at them
Buns,
buns.
hun.
Look inside the buns.
Yeah.
You know what we're gonna put between those buns?
That
We're gonna
meat.
put this meat.
Yeah.
Put this meat between them buns.
Does this make you feel uncomfortable?
Yeah. Flip that meat. Flip it.
Flip it
yeah,
real
like
good.
that. Like that. Oh,
Cheesy
yes, cheese my
meat.
meat.
Oh,
Cheese my meat.
that creamy cheese.
Cheese.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
between those buns. Oh, beyond meat.
Yeah.
Beyond meat.
Beyond meat. HelloFresh.com. Download it from the App Store or Google Play. Use the promo code POGSY823 or click this link that's on top of our link tree. You can go here, go to our link tree, do the stuff and things. Yeah, it is fresh. You get to automatically get the promo code if you use the link. Do the thing, type in ! HelloFresh in chat. You can get it that way too. You can come here and you can learn more what you get here. You get $48 off your first delivery, $31 off your second, 19, 18, 18, 18 off of 6 deliveries. Plus you get 3 surprise gifts. You need to do the stuff and things. Use the promo code right there. Yeah, do it. Do it now. Get to the chopper.
Right.
Get to the chopper. Okay, moving on. Sorry,
Do the
Murph.
thing.
Yes. Thank you, Ray Rez, for popping that in there.
Do the thing.
Hello, Tushy, and Hello Fresh. Yes, we got them both. I don't have a
So many
promo code with
hellos.
Hello Tushy anymore. I used to.
Saying hello to both ends at the same time.
Yeah,
What's up?
hello, hello. That's like aloha, aloha.
Hello.
Aloha, aloha. AlohaTushy.com. Is that goodbye or hello?
Hello.
The
Hello,
only
Fresh
thing I had
Tissue.
to,
HelloFreshPussy.com. No. Sorry.
hello, Pussy Tushy.
Pushy Tushy NaturalEnergy.com.
Hello, Fresh Pussy Tushy.
Yeah.
Oh
that.
my gosh.
.com.
Ooh, yeah. This is really good. It's the first time I've ever tried Ultraviolet. Not sponsored, but if anyone's listening from Monster has that type of authority, I am open for sponsorship.
Hey,
Wide open.
I don't drink
Wide
Monster, but if you sponsor, I'll drink it.
Bushy French Tushy. Yeah. All right. Were you was you close to being done, Murph, or was that it? Or did you, did you have any more you want to throw
the
out?
only little thing I had to add was GoFundMe refused to raise any funds for the truckers in Canada.
Oh yeah.
Completely went against it. A new company that just started a few years ago called Give Send Go, which is like a GoFundMe, they decided to take up the torch and raise money for the truckers to the tune of $9.3 million is what they raised for the truckers at the Canadian border. But a Canadian judge froze that money and is not letting it get to the truckers. The truckers are appealing it right now. And the founder and CFO, Jacob Wells, is also trying to get the appeal pushed through. He's saying the money's in America. The Canadians, the Canadian court system can't freeze the money, but they are right now. They're not letting it get through. There's other means that they're trying to get the money through to them, but basically what Canadians are saying, what the Canadian government is saying, is if you protest, then that's against the law, and we're going to take your money away if you protest. See, here in America, we got the First Amendment right, and we can protest without having to worry about getting fines or getting our bank account frozen or anything like that. Luckily for us, our country was founded by a bunch of people with guns that took the country away from people that didn't have guns. And then we wrote a constitution that says you can't have my fucking guns. That's how we roll. That's all I gotta say.